Okay, let's get into it. Failures and success, they go hand in hand. I have a plethora of stories and lessons that I've learned from failure. Failure is not a bad thing. And I feel like because social media causes us to only see the positive, the good highlight reels of people's lives and businesses and adventures and lifestyles. We don't ever think people have problems or going through bankruptcy, has debt, having um, marital issues, and having work problems and are depressed. Like, you don't see any of the negativity, you only see the positive. "Ugh, you got all these things going on, I don't have things going on." And I feel like it's not fair because when I come up with the courage to post about these ideas that I feel like God has shown me, that I have dreams and visions about, that I have a desire and a goal towards. I really don't want to put off this illusion that everything is going good and I'm rich and I got the bag and I'm making a whole lot of money and it's so easy and every idea that I do is working and I'm just, hustling and making millions. That is far from the truth. And I think because people don't talk about the negative enough, it causes people that choose to compare themselves to something that is not real. It causes envy and jealousy and negative thoughts about people and how they feel about themselves based on something that's not reality. So I want to share some, failures that I have experienced just to put out there in the atmosphere some authentic content, some real content, some honesty, some transparency, some humility, humbling myself, sharing these things with you all to let you know that just because on the outside it looks like, oh, she has all these ideas and doing all these different types of businesses and hustling, and she must be just so happy and so wealthy and so that, and I'm not. I'm not yet. I am happy. I am content. I am trying my best to work hard and try different things, not be afraid, go for what I dream for. But I'm not wealthy right now and I'm not rich. And just because people have ideas and they're posting things does not mean that every idea has been successful. So basically, um, I'm going to kind of go down a timeline and share with you all a couple of things that I've learned from some mistakes that I've made and failures of launching businesses, failures of maintaining and sustaining a consistent business that actually brings profit. Like, it's really hard out here, and I do believe I have an entrepreneur spirit and heart, and I stay consistent and I fight hard towards what it is that I feel is a passion and a uh, purpose that I have. But they don't always work out, and they don't always work out in the season that I want them to. And I can be a really risk taker. I can be a big risk taker. Like, I will just leap and jump. Okay, if I have this idea, boom, I'm gonna do it. And I understand that some people are not like that. Some people are like, they want to really think about it. They pray really long about it. They write it down. They stare at it. They, just think about all the what ifs and are afraid. They rather look at all of the options and take their time and plan. And I don't think there's anything wrong with planning. I do plan, but I don't plan very long, and I kind of plan the first few steps, not all of the steps. So I'm not saying that what I'm doing is right. I'm just saying the reason why you see me always posting about something or always starting a business or always creating a product or always trying to do something is because when I get an idea, I start working on it. I don't allow fear to set in. And sometimes I'm nervous. Sometimes I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? But I do it afraid and I try it. And I feel like that is a good characteristic to have, but it does not guarantee success. And so a lot of times, because people see on the outside that I'm doing all of these things, they think that, oh, she must be successful and so happy, and why does it always work out for her? It's not that case. It's the fact that I'm just trying things. I'm trying to find what fulfills me, what my purpose is. When I have an idea, I want to try it. I don't want to sit on it. I don't want to lose the opportunity, because some windows of opportunity will not last weeks. Some windows of opportunity will not, last a whole year. Sometimes you gotta say, okay, I'm gonna do this and try it now, because if not, by next month it's gonna be over, and by next month the opportunity will close. By that month, that deal will not be available. That month, that trend or idea will not be beneficial, whatever it is. Sometimes you have to kind of move fast. And so, being that type of person that I am, from the outside, it may look like that I'm always doing something and things are successful, but I like to try things out, and not only try them for a week or a day or a month. Like, I will put in and invest time and give it a good year. Really, honestly, a lot of my projects and businesses that I have tried, I've tried to give them at least a year to see if they're successful. And if they're not, then I go ahead and say, well, this is not working out, and I won't do it as a business anymore. And I might do it as an occasional hustle, side hustle, or I'll just, not do it at all. So, back when I was in college, I started Enlightened Eyes Design, which is a graphic design firm. And so from there, I freelanced, and I also began to build partnerships and relationships with churches, salons, um, uh, small businesses, boutiques, so many different types of entities that needed, business cards, that needed flyers, T-shirt designs, programs, brochures. I was doing all these different types of things, and it was working out for a couple years. And so I decided, since it's working out as a freelance, that I should go ahead and make it official. And I got a business license for it. And when I did the business license, it was 2012, I believe. And I was running the business, but it was still part time because I was still working full time. But I would advertise about that all the time. I was getting different types of businesses, different types of um, projects that were coming to me, and it was going well. But one one day in 2014, as I worked my full time job in the office, I was really feeling like I wanted to take a leap of faith and go full time. And I also had some family things going on overseas, and wanted to be able to have more flexibility of my schedule and not be tied down by a full time job. So, with so many different things going on, and a desire to try and really do this graphic design company full time and also help family overseas, I quit my full time job in 2014. And it was it was a good decision, and a risky decision, and not a well thought out decision. um, as I was doing graphic design, and this was since it was in 2014, and I had the business license and was working with different companies, different churches, and different individuals with their graphic design needs, it still really wasn't making enough money to really sustain my bills full time. But me being young and fresh out of college, and feeling like the full-time job I had was not fulfilling, I wasn't thinking about the fact that, yeah, but you need to have more savings, and you need to have a good amount of income coming in to be able to pay for your bills. And it was a learning experience. I went to Germany, and I spent 1 month there, and I was really trying to plan and brainstorm, what my business plan is from here. What am I going to do? How am I going to increase my business to be able to have the income I need for my bills and to grow it even more beyond that. I don't want to just have a business that just pays for my bills. I need a business that's going to actually, explode and grow and expand nationally, And so those are my dreams, and I was applying for different grants, and I was also trying to do contests. There was a contest at Wells Fargo that if you talk about your business that you're trying to start up, and if you get enough votes that you could get a certain kind of grant that would really help. And I can't remember, I want to say it was like $10,000. And so I was trying those types of things to, first of all, get some capital, be able to have some money to invest in the business, to make it grow more, to advertise more, to be able to have better programs, have more cameras, and just some equipment that I need to be a better graphic designer. And it I didn't win that contest. And then after that, when I came back from Germany, which was really a cool experience, but it was more focused on helping my family. I felt like I had the time to plan my business ideas. I really still didn't really know what to do from there. But I just kept believing if I talk to more people, if I get more reviews from the customers that I am working with, and I share how well they are happy with my work, that it would work out. I'll be honest, I did do Facebook ads. Like I was trying to do everything I could think of to get money. I even wrote a business plan and started talking to friends, family members, and people in my community that had influence to get them to invest in the business. And I did get some money from that. And I was so grateful for that support and for people to actually believe in me and my business. But even with that happening, it still was not working out. I was not growing. I did I did feel like at that time I was like, did I make a mistake? Is this really working out? So before I chose to like give up on the dream, like I said, I try to give myself a year to at least try the ideas and the visions that I have and see if they work, because you can't expect something to grow within a couple of days, a couple of weeks, or a couple of months. You got to give it time. And I felt like a year was a good enough time. But at the same time, since I didn't have enough savings and I was not getting enough income to pay my bills, I was starting to get afraid that as months were going by, that I was not going to be able to, really wait until a year to see if this was going to grow. I felt like soon I'm going to be homeless. Soon I'm not going to be able to actually have, um, simple essentials I need to live. And I was like, I don't know if this is worth it anymore. And before I gave up, I decided to host a launch party of the business. I did it in a small town close to my city that had like a business center. And so people were already coming there for like classes. People were coming there to teach other people about business. And there was companies that were partnered with other companies to help those in the community to grow their businesses. So I felt like it was a good place to have a launch party. And I wanted to basically, I started sending invitations out to different pastors, different churches, to boutiques and small businesses, different companies that were in these towns and the surrounding cities to come to this launch party and to be able to hear about my services as a graphic designer, because still at this time, people were still, trying to advertise themselves and trying to figure out how to present their brand. And so I wanted to show them that they have someone in this community that can help you. And I invested a good amount of money in this launch party. I kept it pretty simple. I wanted to focus mostly on the content of what I wanted to say. I sent out invitations, actually like invitations in the mail. And I was really hoping to get a good turnout. I can't remember how many people I invited, but it probably was like, I think it was probably like around 20 or 30 businesses that I reached out to. And I got one, two, three, 5 people, 5 businesses to come and show up. And I was disappointed, but I still stayed um focused on what my mission was, because just because there's 5 people there, you can't just, discount that, because those could be 5 businesses that really need consistent work that could really fill up my, calendar and help me to grow the business. But unfortunately, those that were there, they were supportive and sounded like they were possibly interested. But to be honest, the area that I was living in wasn't it was mostly non-colored people, and so I just felt like maybe because of my age and that I was younger and the business was young and that I was a Black woman, I don't think they felt as confident to trust me with their projects and for their brand. And so I did not feel like I was getting a serious chance to be their graphic designer. And so even after the party, I reached out to them to follow up on some of the things that they talked to me about that they were looking for, and needing from a graphic designer and for their brands and marketing, but never got any callbacks or emails back. So after that, and that was probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months after coming back from Germany, that I was like, I don't know if I can do this for another 3 or 6 months and risk myself being homeless, or not even being homeless really, because at that time, um, yeah, at that time I was not living on my own. But I guess what I mean is I didn't want to be struggling, having my car note, being late fees, and having, overdraft issues, and having credit card debts keep on rising. Like, I just really was stressed, and I realized that this was not a good decision. So that's just one example of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to be a person that really tries to, start a business, and it didn't work out. And so I basically went ahead and got a part-time job until I could find a full-time job. I started working at Best Buy. Then I started volunteering at the Rescue Mission. And then I finally got hired as a full-time manager at the Rescue Mission at their thrift store. And so I worked there. And as I thought about what am I going to do career wise, because after college, which I went to college for computer science, I was like, I need to do something with this degree, but I could not seem to find a job, full-time job for that degree. And so from there, I was like, I'm going to get a master's and focus on getting more educational experience with my graphic design abilities that I have learned on my own and as a business owner, as a freelancer, and mix that together and try and get a better career job, because right now maybe a business isn't a good idea. And so I did that. I got my master's in media design. And from there, I started at a new university job, first in the office for student services. And then months later, once I finally got my degree and they were looking for a new marketing um, manager for their international department, that's what I applied for, and I got the job. And so I've been doing that ever since 2000 um 16, yeah, 2016. And so fast forward to more mistakes and failures that I had. um so the next adventure that I was looking into started during the pandemic. So 2020, everybody is stuck at home, and everyone is uh, trying to figure out what this whole economy and work environment is going to be like. And everyone was really shut in, could not go anywhere, couldn't do anything except for go, buy groceries, get gas, and go to the hospital. And so during that time, I've always loved drawing, painting, art since I was a child. And so I started doing that more during the pandemic because that was something that I enjoyed. It gave me peace and it made me feel like I could kind of escape the whole stuck in the house, working on the laptop all the time and not being able to see friends and families on a more regular basis. And so I thought about it and I was like, well, what about other people and stuck in the house and people that would want to do things and connect with other people and be able to feel like they're not just sitting at home watching TV being bored. And so from there, I birthed You and I Paint, which is basically like a lot of companies out there, but regardless if there's a lot of companies out there, that doesn't mean that just because you have an idea and it's already been done that you can't do it either. You still have a lot of people that you can reach that have not been reached by other companies that do the same thing you want to do. So I wasn't going to just not do it. So basically I wanted to present paint kits to people and virtually meet together on Zoom or Google Meets and be able to have a paint party. And so that's what I started marketing on social media. I created my logo, I created the business. I actually even got an LLC, like I made it official, and I just started selling paint kits to people, even if they didn't want to do it online with me. And I guide them in painting unicorns and mermaids and beach themes and lighthouses and Charlie Brown and the Grinch. Like I was doing all types of different themes and kids really loved them. Like kids was probably like my 75% of my audience and 25% were adults that never had painted before and that wanted to do something fun during the pandemic. And that lasted to 2020 and I still do it now, but the problem was is that I got so excited about it that after everything opened back up, people kind of didn't want to paint anymore at home. So then I started to do paint classes and paint parties at different cafes for Valentine's Day, for couples, for singles, for Mother's Day, for moms and their daughters. And I started hosting that out in public cafes and restaurants so that people could do things in person. And that worked out really well and really great. But it kind of started to fizzle down because I feel like there were so many other people that were doing that as well in person. And then also, too, I feel like people want to do more things than just paint. And so I kept trying to connect with people and connect with people. And someone reached out to me about doing it at a library. And that was really a blessing because I didn't have to do as much marketing on my own. The library started advertising for themselves to their own, um, oh, not really customers, but to their audience and people that come to them for library needs. And the library does a lot of events besides just have books for you to check out. They have lots of different programs for children, for adults, and for families, and classes that you want to learn things. And so I was so glad to be able to be a part of that and do actual paint events and paint parties for certain themes for like fall and Christmas and summertime for adults to have their own mingle time and then some for kids. And so I did that as well the next year, which was 2021. Well, it started to pick up, but then in 2022, beginning of this year, it kind of fizzled down. This year, I did not get as many calls about doing things at the library. Plus, I did not get as many venues to contact me back about doing events for Mother's Day and for Valentine's Day. And I was starting to think, okay, well, what can I do? What should I do to grow this company? And so I've always posted on social media, always um, did paid advertisements about special events that I had going on for the paint events. But I just was starting to see where there's a decline in people's interest in doing paint parties. And there's so many people that are doing it as well, more people had started doing it more in my community, that I had more competition than I did in 2020. But I didn't want that to stop me. So I still would paint stuff at home just to keep the content going on my social media platforms. I still would paint things. I would let people know that I can also sell you paint kits that you can do at home or as gifts. And so that was helping me to bring in some income, but it was nothing compared to the first year or half of the second year. And so I realized that this is not something that I wanted to continue to do. And as much as I loved painting and drawing and helping different people realize that they are creative, that they do have art abilities, and they can express themselves with art. I just realized that as a business, with the expenses that I had to keep the business up, I was not bringing in enough income, and I did not want to overwhelm myself with trying to keep something going just because it's something I like to do. So I still do things from time to time for You and I Paint, but I decided that a couple months ago that I'm going to close that business. And that wasn't an easy decision because I really felt like this is going to like really work out. This is going to really make a difference. This is really, I'm a black owned paint company, and it's not as many of them, especially not in my community. And so, excuse me, so I really was like, oh, this is awesome. And I don't know, maybe it's just one of those like lows, and maybe it'll come back up, who knows. But I just was like, it wasn't growing, it wasn't going up. Like it was very much like this with the growth of the company, and then it kind of just was going down, and I could not seem to keep the momentum. And sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe sometimes some ideas or business ideas are not the right timing, or they're not the right location, the right area, the right region. Or maybe sometimes it just wasn't meant to be something full time. Maybe it's best to be something part time just for the holidays. But I knew that I did not want to continue to run the LLC business. And so I put in work to go ahead and close that down. So that was another failure. That was another business that did not work out, that did not grow, did not explode, did not make me rich or wealthy. But from the outside, people may be thinking, oh, well, she has graphic design and she's doing painting. And even when I close businesses down, I still offer those services if someone needs it that I know, or they tell someone they know and they're like, oh, I heard you do business cards. Can you help me out? Sure, I can help you out. Like I still every once in a while will do a little side hustle here and there off of those gifts and talents that I have, but I just realized that it wasn't a business. And I try to launch them, I try to maintain them, but it just didn't work out. And I don't always express that on social media. Sometimes I just close the Facebook or the Instagram account out and down and just say it didn't work out. But I don't want people to think that everything is just flowers over here. So now it makes me feel like I need to say, okay, yes, you saw me do this endeavor and that business and that product, but it does not mean that it worked out. And I want you to see the highs and the lows of my reels so that you know that life is not always glamorous for other people on the other side of the field. Green is not always greener on the other side, but people only see what's on social media, but don't base your life or compare your life to someone else based off what's on social media, because it's not always like that. And I have a plethora of other, things that I have done that I was just like, oh my gosh, now when I get into it, I realize this is not as easy as it looks. I can make it look easy on social media, but it's not. Same thing with my eczema and sensitive skin journals that I put on KDP Amazon. I published those a couple months ago and thought that would be such a great idea because it was so close to my heart. It was something that my mother taught me to journal about my eczema flare ups, about my skin, and how I have sensitive skin when I have rashes, when I eat something. You know, I felt like that was a tool that not only people with eczema, but even just the Black community would be able to really benefit from, because we need to take control of our health and take a stance on what we need to do for our bodies. And so you only can know unless you track what is causing you to have those issues, those rashes, those flare ups, those allergy reactions. It just, I thought that product was going to just blow up and be like, the bestseller on the New York bestseller list. But it didn't. I mean, I only sold 3 copies, and that included me, my mom, and my sister. So, yeah, and I haven't checked the KDB account in a while. I would love to go on there and see that, oh, I got some more sales, but I didn't. And I'm advertising it more, and it looks like I'm doing a whole lot, but I'm advertising because I'm trying to get it out there more. I did paid advertisement, didn't get me any sales. It just got me more clicks, more leads, more followers, but that does not pay bills. So please, I'm just asking you to not look on the outside of people's lives and social media and think that everything is flowers and wonderful, because it's not. And people are just trying out here. People are just trying to make the best of their life, trying their best to create something that they envision, that they dream of, that they have goals of. And yes, it looks great and wonderful on the outside, but on the inside, what's going on is a lot of hard work and prayer and faith and risk taking and failures and mistakes and trying, falling, trying, falling, trying, falling, trying. Trust me, okay? I have much more, stories I could tell, because I've tried so many different things, but I don't regret any of my mistakes or failures, because they taught me lessons that I need to make sure that my risk will give me a reward, and that I need to make sure my risk is not too big that it causes me to fall back on bills and debts, that I make sure that I'm making a good decision that's going to be beneficial for my future and not just my present time, and that I'm learning that just because it's easy to make something or create a business does not mean that just because people around your community that are so happy about it and excited about it and want to support you are not going to make you a millionaire. It's not going to just blow up and all of a sudden, woo, everybody's rushing to you, to your website to buy your product. It takes a lot of work. It takes the right time, the right chance, the right opportunity, and you have to just be consistent. Consistency is the most important key out of everything, because you have to keep trying until eventually, boom, it works. And I haven't made it yet, and I'm just trying to encourage y'all and myself to let you know that don't give up. You still have dreams, you have desires. If it didn't work out, you can take a break, take a moment of break, but go back to it. Don't give up. Don't just say, no, it ain't gonna work out. Just wait until the right just wait until the right time and chance comes. But while you're waiting, still stay productive, still stay focused, still make small progresses and small victories towards your goal and get closer and closer. It doesn't matter who passing by you in the race and in their lane. Stay in your lane. That's all I want to share with you all, and let you know that success and failure are hand in hand, and failure is not a bad thing. I don't regret any of the choices that I've made. I'm going to keep on trying new endeavors. I'm excited about the business shower that I have for this new endeavor I have. I pray to the Lord that this one will be successful and really help people, and it will be a blessing, and that it will grow, and I can do it full time and won't have to work for anyone else, and I can be a real full-time entrepreneur that really does sell something that helps people and is in need and in demand, so that it continues to be needed. That's my hope and my prayer, and I hope and pray that whatever business and endeavor you have will be a blessing and will grow and allow you to be full time if that's your desire, so that you don't have to work for anyone else but yourself. But don't think that it will be easy, because when you work for yourself, you work on 24/7, not 9 to 5. Okay. So thank you all so much. I hope you guys have a great day. And thank you again for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please check my description. I will have all of my platform social media tags on there, as well as my Etsy shop, as I build my inventory for my soaps and my body butters, and as well Please like this video. Please comment and let me know what failures that you had and what lessons did you learn from your failures. And let's just keep on pushing, guys. Don't give up.